weird to have one of them be like just this yellow energy.
That's All Might. And hey everybody, we're back for another week of the Anime4ALL podcast.
Hey everyone.
Starting off, I think actually at the correct time for once since this podcast is inception. Okay, we here to review episode, I call it 13 of My Hero Academia season 7. Oh, that was Discord going off. Yeah, that was Discord going off. Okay, we are here to review episode 13 of My Hero Academia. Hopefully we can get to Dragon Prince. If not, we'll like retread that ground later. I don't think I really have much to say with this episode because it's mostly just Deku versus Shigaraki for the most part. I think we have Muriel helping Deku a little bit too. Unfortunately, the episode starts off like in the midst of the action. Muriel, who I don't think we made we acknowledged it, or maybe we did. I don't remember if we did. Muriel showing his butt to Shigaraki as a last ditch effort to stop him from moving towards Bakugo. It worked. It was very peachy. I really wish I had thought this ahead when I said those words, but we'll deal with that later. I need to have the sound box on all the dang time. But yeah, that worked, and essentially that's pretty much where we start off. I mean, technically speaking, to be more broader about what's going on here, they show that after they show us what Deku was going on Deku, because actually I missed something the last time we were watching Deku fly towards the battleground. I watched a lot of reactors. Something that came up that was really strange that I never acknowledged. I don't know if you acknowledged it, but apparently there was some things flying towards Deku in the distance, and I never caught on to that because I never saw it.
The planes, you mean?
Yeah, we didn't know they were planes at the time, but there was something flying at him, and then it's clarified that it was the stealth bombers. But I never noticed them. I didn't even know there were even anybody flying to Deku. When he was talking to the first user of One for All, the originator, I saw that, but I guess I must have looked away at a really bad time for some certain reason. I don't know why. I don't know what was going on the day when I was watching the episode, but I do not remember there being something flying towards Deku before they cut away. So I mean, I didn't acknowledge that because I wasn't aware of it. I only became aware of it watching reactors, which I typically watch reactors to see people's reactions to what's going on. So like but yeah, we find out the stealth bombers from Stars and Stripes crew were still around, and apparently they were disobeying orders like their sister would do, and they helped Deku pretty much slingshot his way across the ocean fast enough for him to get over to the battlefield in just a nick time after, you know, Mirio showed his butt cheeks to Shigaraki. That's I mean, it's not out of character, which is the funny thing. Normally you think that why would they do that? That's so stupid.
He's got such mixed feelings about it too. Like he's got tears in his eyes.
That's the only thing he could do. I mean, Shigaraki literally called him scum. He wasn't worth his time. You know, yeah. Mirio couldn't do anything to him because like he didn't have the power to do anything to him. It was really an off-putting, but also very Mirio thing to do, which is that's saying a lot about his character, considering where he's come from and the awesome fights he was a part of, only to be relegated to comic relief. But I mean, you know what it is. What it is. It was a relief moment that needed to happen. In Peachy Keen, that's okay. We're just gonna move on from that though. But essentially after that, Deku comes in at the end of the last episode. We see Deku fly in and kick the heck out of Shigaraki. Apparently, also I didn't notice that. Apparently, Deku. I guess I did notice that. I just didn't bring attention to. Is that, you know, he used Black Whip to give himself some leverage to back away with Fajin. I think he did it so fast. I didn't catch on to what he was doing, because when he did it, he slammed right into Shigaraki and then landed right in front of him. Like all Shigaraki could do is like it's the Izuku Midori. I guess I want to say this entire episode did something to Shigaraki though. I guess I wasn't aware they were doing. I guess he's been converted to One for All now, or at least I mean All for One now, because that's what they keep on referring to him this entire episode. Is like he is now One for All for One.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he was always All for One when this all started. It's just that now they're referring to him as that now.
Well, Mirio said that like he didn't seem like that. He saw a crack in the armor for that. You know what I mean? Where like when he teased him about not having friends.
Yeah, I know, but it just seemed like I don't know if like maybe the Shigaraki that we saw in season 1, not the little kid, but like the Shigaraki that was very immature. Maybe that became One for All. I mean All for One, and that's what All for One's referring to. Even though I mean we see in the visual that they're giving us that little Shigaraki's trying to break out, and he's being pulled in by all the hands, which is disturbing imagery. But
yeah, but they wouldn't show that unless there was something that was going to happen with it later.
I mean, I'm not dismissing it. I'm just saying that it's just really interesting imagery. They decided to show us that. I mean, honestly, I guess it's not really imagery. It's really what's going on in the body of that guy. But before all that, or at least not too far beyond that, that was after Mirio calmed Deku down. Which yes, Deku went insane when he showed up and saw all his, all the people that was helping him, all are on the ground. Like
the thing is, he didn't go insane. Mirio like talks him out of it. He's going to go insane. Like he's all ready to like lose his mind.
Technically speaking, he already was. Is that Mirio pulled him back? He didn't exactly do anything yet. He just lost his mind there. But so, like, he saw everybody. He saw Mirako, who lost most of. Actually, now that we're talking about Mirako, I want to say something. This isn't towards you or anybody who doesn't think this way, but this is towards the people who I've seen, especially in art, journalists, which really got me thinking when I was reading this. I saw a journalist saying that My Hero Academia has failed all the female characters, and the basis she uses to say this is that a lot of the female characters got really messed up, or in some cases some of them weren't used. Now I will say some of the characters not getting used, I can understand that. Uraraka, Froppy, we don't even know what they're doing right now. After Deku left that battleground, we don't know what's been going on over there. I mean, I suspect that this episode we're probably gonna find out, because I saw the preview. If you're wondering about the next episode, I suspect now that Deku's here, we're gonna after this episode we're gonna see more. But what I want to talk about is the people who are saying that Horikoshi is his name. I think his first or last name. He's misogynistic apparently, because Miracle is the one thing they use, is that she's lost all her limbs. Well, not all limbs. She's lost most of her limbs. Stars and Stripes was killed. A lot of female characters. Midnight was killed. Female characters are relegated to just being backup for male characters.
Lost like all of her limbs.
No, she just lost one limb. I mean, she lost 3, but she still got one more limb. But what I wanna fight back on is, no, none of that is really true, especially with Miracle, because I see what really, honestly, and a lot of people see it this way too. I've seen this too from reactors that I've seen. The spot that Miracle is like occupying right now in terms of what's going on with her would normally be occupied by a male character. She's literally lost some limbs. Most people would probably have backed off. No, she said, I may have lost my arms and my other leg. I'm still gonna go in.
But I'm not harmless.
Essentially, she is a hare. I also had to look this up too today. I was kind of wondering if like rabbits have a higher threshold for pain. From what I was able to deduce, I think it's true. Like, they almost don't like show signs of pain. With her being her quirk being characteristics of a rabbit, I'm guessing that's why when she ripped off her arms, she just didn't mind.
I don't know. I think a rabbit would tend to make a pretty good show if its arm got ripped off.
I mean, rabbits apparently have like they don't really show. I mean, yeah, they probably feel pain, but it's like I don't think it's gonna like really affect them. I mean, if we were to take hello Deku, if we were to take like, I guess the most extreme of like kid versus a rabbit and put it on a human, I think so the threshold would probably be multiplied by at least 100. Uh, Now I don't know if they're gonna have her arms come back. Granted, they didn't give it for her leg when she lost her leg. They just gave her a spatula. I'm gonna keep on calling it that. But yeah, I just want to say, like, the people who think that Horikoshi is misogynistic, I don't think that's true. For as somebody who's been watching anime and reading manga since like high school, um, probably watching a little bit longer because there's anime in America before Dragon Ball Z was really the big thing. I'll let you guys know that. There was an original run of Shaman King that didn't do well over here. There was Fighting Foodons on Fox. That was an anime. People don't know what Fighting Foodons is. Look it up. Uh, a lot of shows. From what I've noticed, this has probably been, I mean, this is probably sad even to say, but this has probably been the best I've seen female characters get treated, period. Because again, the spot in the story that Mirko was freaking putting, you know, that she's holding would normally be occupied by a male character.
You also have to consider how male characters have been treated.
I mean, I hadn't really even touched. I mean, there's a lot of male characters that have gotten treated badly. Huh?
Excuse me. All Might has been treated really. All Might is like a ripped up, like beat up old man that like vomits blood anytime he gets excited. Endeavor has got like one of his arms ripped off just recently. There's like a lot of Eraser lost one of his eyes. Like there's a lot of like male characters in this that have paid like some pretty serious, you know, Bakugo with a shot through his chest. The Edge guy that like is in there like probably giving up his life to sew up Bakugo and save his life. There's plenty of characters, like male characters in this, that are getting just as bad treatment as the female ones.
I mean, her idea was about like, I mean, and I had no problem with, you know, female empowerment. I really don't. I don't want that to be what people take from this. I'm just saying that honestly, like, female characters have been treated. Yeah, female characters, just, as Sphere has mentioned, have gotten just as bad treatment. But like, she was just talking about like how a lot of female characters gotten killed, and she adds up like she's specifically choosing the character she wants to bring to bring her article together. Midnight was killed, seemingly for no reason, even though I don't know what the reason was, but I'm pretty sure they had a reason for it.
What female characters were killed besides Midnight?
Stars and Stripes.
Oh,
she brings up Stars and Stripes and how powerful she was, but yet still she got killed. Like, I don't really know what her article was really trying to convey. All I really know is I was saying like she felt like, you know, females in anime, which I mean it's true to an extent. I mean, there's a lot of shows that don't treat female characters like the male characters. But again, another thing, I even saw comments even talking about this and fighting back on it, even some female characters too. And somebody even, I think it was a female who reported back saying like Mirko, like they don't see Mirko as being treated poorly. Because like they like usually at the spot that she's occupying would have been, you know, been occupied by a male character. You know, they wouldn't normally. You would not see. And so it to normally you would not see female characters getting brutalized as you are seeing them now, but they're being treated just as equally as any other character. On top of that, Mirko is an example who I like to use. She's done way more than most side male characters up to this point in this freaking show. She's literally taken on a Nomu. I mean, if Endeavor didn't have the ability to incinerate them, he probably wouldn't be doing. He'd probably do just as worse, or maybe just as good as All Might. Maybe not. I don't know. At least Miracles managed to cut off a head with her foot. Yeah, she lost a couple of limbs in that fight, but hey, I mean that was really because of Shigaraki. She wasn't anticipating him to be that difficult at that time. I just want to point out that My Hero Academia is treating the female characters, I think, a lot better than most other shows that I've seen in the past. And on top of it, I want to bring up too that My Hero Academia is is in the category of stuff that's that is advertised to young boys. So even with all that in mind, you know, like they wouldn't normally. Again, yeah, they wouldn't. They wouldn't put her. They would. They probably wouldn't. Like I'm not saying not treat them, but you know, put them in the limelight. But Horikoshi has literally gone above and beyond. And she even complains about Uraraka. It's kind of the kind of complaint I had at first was like I was afraid of her whole like crush thing to get in the way of her. And she sounds like, and at least when I was reading before I got tired of it, it sounded like she said Uraraka got relegated to her story arc being about love and her crush. And they're like, no. At first I had that concern, but that's not really the case. If anything, I don't think anything she's doing is really Deku motivated. I mean, yeah, she wants to stand by his side, I'm pretty sure, but that's probably second. Like, I mean, like, so far, like, she's really, to me, she's done way better in getting treated as like a lead character. And I guess another thing, too, she brought up that Uraraka kind of got downgraded when Bakugo and Todoroki got brought into the fray. Because, like, at first, it was going to be her, Ida, and, Deku. I also want to point out to that woman, if they ever hears this, like, I think you were making a lot of assumptions about character placement. I just wanted to say that I think there was a lot of assumptions being made, and when those assumptions weren't true, she got a pitchfork.
Pitchfork.
You know,
you don't think much of this journalist.
It's not that I don't think much of this journalist. I don't think much of the article. I was reading this, and it was really upsetting me, and in a way that I didn't think was possible, because I was like, did she not get anything that was happening throughout the course of these 7 seasons? Like, I don't think anything she said was like, I mean, yeah, I mean, not every character got the limelight. I mean, not every female character got, but there's so many characters. There's only so much you can do within, the limited, the limited amount of story that you have already planned ahead for. But I guess back to the anime before I continue on with this. There's again not much really was going on in this episode. It was just Deku and Shigaraki. Deku kind of came in, saved the day. He sees Bakugo on the ground, Miracle on the ground, Best Units on the ground. I don't know where Muriel was. I know Muriel was standing right beside him, but I don't know if he turned around to see Muriel in the ground with his butt in the air. That would have been an interesting like visual.
Ooh, peachy.
Oh dear. But essentially he sees all of this and Deku starts hyperventilating, and then Shigaraki, well, One for All, All for One, sorry, I always mix that up. It hasn't stopped. I thought by season 7 I would have gotten a grasp on it, but no. All for One, huh?
I mix it up too.
All for One. I think for right now I'm gonna talk about Deku and his fight with Shigaraki. I'm probably gonna refer to Shigaraki as All for One, or like for ease of accessibility, considering that
because All for One is on his way.
Huh?
That might be messy to do because All for One is on his way.
I don't know. I feel like, well, I don't know.
We know he's on the way.
Are you sure? Because I mean,
straight up, he said, "I'm gonna go stop. I'm gonna go save my protege or whatever."
All for 2.
It's what's gonna happen is Deku is gonna continue to win this fight, and before he can do anything final, All for One's gonna show up and stop the fight, and they're gonna have to retreat, probably with heavy losses.
I don't know. I feel like there's only like one more season left. That seems like a lot longer. It's of a wait or something like that. But yeah, I think we got one more season. I'm only making that assumption because the manga's over, so I'm not sure how much more we got left. But I suspect we only got like one more season. But Deku shows up, hyperventilates, goes almost psycho superhero, and Muriel comes in and calms him down. Talking him down as this is happening. Shigaraki is over there trying to say like, yeah, this is all your fault. Like, and I guess also like a side tangent. like there's this married reacting couple that I sometimes watch, and they watch this show and react to it. Um, with the wife Tasha, married to the real to be specific. That that's the name of our channel, but Tasha I think is her name. The wife, she brings up the fact that how she loves this show because it's so gray. Because like the main reason why Shigaraki is the way he is right now is because like the world hero world ignored him the entire time. Back when he was not a threat, and now he's a threat, and that they can't not pay attention to him. Like it's like, this is like everything kind of like there's a gray area, unfortunately, with everything that's going on. But with that, Shigaraki keeps like taunting when trying to taunt Deku. We find out actually really quickly too that Shigaraki's plan was to literally like distress Deku enough to the point where he gets upset that his movements become predictable. Which I guess I should have realized that's what he was trying to do, which is why he wanted to kill Bakugo in the first place, and why he kept calling Bakugo a present to him. I did think that was kind of weird wording, but I guess I wasn't thinking what Shigaraki was thinking of. But yeah, he literally wanted to distress Deku enough that he get upset. His plan seems to work until Mirio steps in, and calms him down. And Deku's thinking about All Might, Stars and Stripes. All Might saying a message about like lip service is what we have to do because we're putting our lives on the line, which that was kind of cool. Actually, it was kind of cool to see All Might in his like I guess his powered up mode, even if it wasn't just in a memory. Deku calms down, with with the chest bump, and he's like, "Thank you, Mirio. You're sorry for that." He looks right at Shigaraki, and then like his eyes change. At first, they're like a glowing green mess at first, and then they're like it's still like a glowing green mess, but it's like his eyes are visible in it, and it looks like very electric. I would almost compare this mode to like kind of All Might's buff mode. It just looks different, considering the Deku's got more powers than All Might does. But he looks at him, and then he just goes in and starts like beating him to a pulp. Like he literally just starts laying into Shigaraki, doing damage that we haven't seen since when did this fight start?
Like 6 episodes ago.
It's just like he just started doing damage. Like at first when Deku showed up, he hit him with the Fajin powered I guess kick. It melted away some of his fingers, and he keeps on doing this, and it just keeps on like damaging Shigaraki. He keeps like chipping away at his armor that we're seeing that no one else could chip away, which was interesting. I thought that was actually kind of cool, like seeing Deku actually doing some, somebody finally doing some actual damage.
He can regenerate.
Well, now Deku can lay into him faster.
He's got the non-quirk body.
His body is literally just an organism at this point, man. I don't get why, and this is the other two. No one else, and still nobody else is pissed off about this. I think you're the only one who's ticked off about this. I know you probably disbelieve that, but at least from what I've seen, I haven't seen anybody complain about that. It's just more like, man, how are they gonna beat him with this ever-evolving body of his? Never anybody complaining that it's kind of like breaking physics or whatever. Because it's still not making anything. He's making things out of his body. It's not out of nothing. If it was like just in his hand and something popped up in his hand, I would say, okay, I thought nothing was coming out of his body. Yeah, then when they talk about like Shigaraki and like if like Shigaraki's still in there or not, and then Mirio says like, yeah, he's still in there. At least it looked like to me that there was something going on in there, because when I made fun of you for not having friends, you freaked out. You had this like Deku's looking at Shigaraki, and then like Nana Shimura, one of the vestiges, is looking at the giant hand mess that he had, and one of the heads looked back up at her, and she's like, he's still in there, and then it's like, okay, well, that's what you want to believe, lady. But, huh? What?
She would know, being his relative.
I guess I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like she's still hoping. Granted, I mean, we've already seen it that he is still in there, but it's just one of those like, It still could just be like, maybe she's just hoping really hard, considering she didn't want her grandson to be killed. But yeah, this fight, like, I will say, this fight animation-wise is really good. Like, all like the action scenes, Deku just getting in there. Like, Deku, to me, it's like Deku's showing a fighting ability I didn't know he even had. I mean, it's also probably backed up by All for One. I mean, One for All, but he goes laying into him, and then he shows probably what I call the highlight of this episode. The second user of One for All's quirk, transmission. I looked into this because I wanted to understand a little bit more, because they didn't give too much. They didn't give too much about what this quirk did. At least what I looked into is all they really kind of had. There was a small little detail that I'm not gonna go into because I don't completely understand it. But what I do understand is I like this quirk, and I also like that at least Horikoshi, the guy who made My Hero Academia, I love that, like, because of where transmission is in the chain of quirks that are inside One for All, because it was number 2 in the chain. It got exponentially stronger to the point that All for One didn't understand what was going on. Because he was like this quirk only should be able to affect the trajectory of like small items, but because it was in One for All for so long, it gained the ability to move the cells inside the human body. So when Deku activates this, he's just able to move superhumanly fast. And he just like starts laying into Shigaraki, and because of how the quirk works too, inertia also starts like building up after every hit. So he goes from he activates transmission, and he goes first gear, second gear, third gear, and then top gear, and then like since Shigaraki flying into the air. I want to point out that at least nobody else watching react to this, brought up something kind of interesting. I brought up One Piece on this show once right before. Hello?
Right before what?
I mean, I brought up One Piece at one point sometime before, right? Like
Yes.
I was reminded of One Piece in Luffy's second and third gear modes in that show. I don't know if the creator decided to take the words. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you if that was the case or not. I just thought it was kind of funny. It was like, wow, like really? I mean, it doesn't do what it does in that anime because it's a pirate show, but it's still kind of funny to hear first, second, third, and then top gear. And then apparently, finally, Deku, after sitting and flying, jumps right behind him and goes in for overdrive, and then overdrive goes into 120% Detroit Smash. Like, but we get the explanation of how transmission worked, and I was like, dang, I really do love that, because it was the first one of the first inside the chain of powering up. In One for All, it pretty much got the most out of it. Out of like the charging of energy necessary to power it up. Like, I really do like transmission, but I guess another thing too is it's got a 5-minute time limit. Now, at first they make it sound like, okay, Deku can only use his power one time and that's it. After looking into it, that's not, I guess it's not 100% true. I don't know if they're gonna explain why. We kind of get a visual of kind of why when Deku was like, finally, I guess, done laying into Shigaraki after putting a hole in his stomach. Which is like, good lord, man. If Shigaraki wasn't superhuman, he would be dead by now. But I guess while this fight was happening with like transmission, I love that Yusei Run actually played during this fight with Deku and Shigaraki. And then some of like the still shots kind of reminded me of like All Might versus the Nomu in season 1. Like, it was this was probably the most, in my opinion, My Hero Academia had been My Hero Academia. Like, things like kind of shifted tone and whatnot, but like this episode kind of, at least with this fight and the song and the hope that it was inspiring, it really It was very inspiring and very. It reminded me, like it reminded me that I kind of missed like the happy-go-luckiness of the first season, but I don't hate the direction the show has gone. But it'd be kind of cool to have some of the happy-go-lucky come back. But I mean, considering the world's in danger, I guess they can't have that. I guess what'd you think of I guess transmission in general?
It's a cool little like ability. I don't think it's too overpowered. It just, I mean, he's punching really hard, which is something that all for one for all lets him do anyway. You know what I mean? Like having an ability that lets you hit really hard is just like not that much different than the ability.
I mean, I don't think it's really hidden one. Like the whole idea of transmission is just let you move really fast. Because like transmission is supposed to. Well, I mean, honestly, the quirk in its infancy is only able to move small objects. I think One for All said that it was like a pea shooter, which is why he was never really concerned about it.
But All Might can move really fast too, and during his heyday.
I don't think like this though, because it seemed like Deku was like literally like defying the world in terms of like, the laws that were there.
He was moving so much faster than that guy with a totally normal quirkless body.
I don't get why Shigaraki's body just evolving on its own really irritates you that much. I really don't. This isn't a bit either. It really confuses me.
It's a superpower. Like if he has superpowers, he can regenerate. He can grow limbs where limbs weren't.
I mean, but what if it was all just a scientific experiment done on his body? Because I mean, they've already said that his body was experimented on.
Because it goes beyond science. I mean, he's created like much more than his body weight and body parts that have like he's lost so far. At one point, he had the entire arena filled with fingers. Like
science also created the bullet that rewound All for One's body, though.
Yeah, but that's quirk based.
Science still affected Shigaraki's body. Was experimenting. They were trying to make it so he could have quirks. I mean, the whole idea of the quirk, the Doomsday Theory, which is they always seeded from like season.
But he can't
3?
have a quirk right now. He's got a quirk taking away his quirk.
Still his body, like I mean, they said his body was like evolving to the point where he can deal with any fight. His body is just changing on his own like a chameleon.
And showing superhuman abilities.
That he was already kind of shown to have.
Yeah, he's got superpowers.
Okay, here's the thing. With all that, like, okay, if you were to remove Aizawa from the playing field, do you think they have a chance with somebody that can literally decay you with a touch? Everybody would be dead. Like, Deku would come to an empty battlefield, even if Shigaraki decided to stay there.
I thought that Shigaraki's a broken enemy.
What?
It's not my fault that Shigaraki is a broken, like, spot, like, enemy. They made him too powerful.
Well, I mean, when All for One is a really powerful ability, what do you expect?
Not like that. You can touch the ground and wipe out, like, a city block.
I mean, that was just decaying awakening. Which is, again, something we already seen in the show that could happen.
Like, Decay is probably more powerful than that now.
What?
Decay is probably more powerful than that now. Than the last time we saw it.
I don't know how much powerful it can get when he can just decay endlessly. I don't think he can get any more powerful than that. It's just touch. You don't want to touch him.
If he had his quirks on, all the heroes in the world in that one spot would not be able to take him with his quirks on.
Yeah, that's if he was using them like intelligently. There's always something. I mean, I'm not saying Shigaraki isn't powerful. I'm just saying that there's always something small that could happen that could trip him up. We already seen that, like, he's still kind of a broken mess in his mind. Sorry, I didn't get that.
I said, yeah.
There's always something small. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, like, to me, it's like, again, I said this before, and I'll keep on harping on it. I just don't think the evolving body, is it ridiculous? I mean, after the whole mouth thing that showed up on his body and spit out the poison, I was like, okay. Now he can do that. His body is just changing consistently on a cell basis that just allows him to deal with things. Yes, he has abilities that normal people don't have, but I don't know, like, I think Shigaraki left normality years ago. I think he wasn't normal after he killed his parents. And he only killed his parents after his parents distressed him to the point where he needed to get away from everybody.
Yeah. But that's neither here nor there.
What do you mean? He killed his parents?
He killed his parents, but what does that have to do with the conversation at hand? You're saying he wasn't normal, but, like, we know that.
Let's see, I don't think his evolving body is like, I mean, I could literally, like, for me, it's like, okay, it's like the scientists affected him. The Quark's doomsday theory is just enough for me. But apparently, you need something more, and I don't think there's a necessity for all that. And I bet at some point his body will stop changing. I mean, like, it can't keep on changing like this. I mean, I say that, and then later on I find out it can keep on changing, but still, I don't think it can keep changing on forever. He's got to stop changing at some point. His body's got to achieve some, like, ultimate form that doesn't need to be changed to deal with everything.
Shigaraki's endurance is incredible because he fought Giganta Machina for like a month.
That still irritates me, kind of, to an extent. I don't know why he was able to do that.
Yeah, he went on for like a month straight without sleep or anything. Like, if he can do that with fighting Giganta Machina, he can fight this fight longer than Deku can stay awake.
I don't know. I mean, Deku kind of went on his own endurance run. He didn't rest, sleep, or I guess let's say he did eat during that period. It's just that I think he ate less. I want to say.
Yeah, but we don't know that he didn't sleep.
I want to say he didn't.
I want to say he didn't get much sleep, but I don't want to say he didn't sleep. Period.
How do you know that? How do you know that Shigaraki didn't sleep? Cause like, I think doesn't Giganta Magi need to stop and recharge at some point? He doesn't keep on going.
Yes, he does.
I don't think so.
Nomu.
Yeah, but Nomu's still rest, kind of.
Really? When's the last time you saw Nomu get tired or rest?
When they're not moving, when they're just sitting there like a doll, like a dodo on a cliff, like a lemon.
I don't know. I don't.
They don't do anything without being told, so they're at rest 100%, 95% of the time. They don't move on their own.
And it's like, oh, I'm pretty tired chasing this little upstart. I think I'll sit down and rest for a while.
Again, he doesn't move without being told. Like, what about that? Does it, like, you're not paying attention to?
Okay, I'm slept up now. I can go back to trying to crush this little guy. I don't think that's how it went.
Let me look something. Shigaraki versus Gigantomachia. Oh shoot! Really had it. What happened? Gigantomachia. How did that go?
You want me to do it again?
No, please don't. Uh, Over the next month and a half, Gigantomachia attacks Tomura 44 hours and 44 minutes at a time, while only resting 3 hours. Gigantomachia did rest.
Who was it saying was arrested? Shigaraki or Gigantomachia?
Over the next month and a half, I mean, it takes 7 minutes. It doesn't say who, though. At this reading, kind of makes it seem like Gigantomachia was the one resting. Maybe Tomura was the one resting.
I'd be willing to bet that Gigantomachia doesn't need to rest.
Okay, it says here Tomura has barely slept and so forth the course of the month. I'm guessing Gigantomachia was resting for 3 hours at a time, because it says he was attacking Tomura 44 hours and 44 minutes at a time. So he was up for a long time. That's not up for a dispute. He was up for a very long time, but he would rest 3 hours. Even comparatively to the amount of time he was resting, it wasn't like, it wasn't a lot, but because he was up way longer. But it looks like Gigantomachia still needed to rest. I'm pretty sure Gigantomachia has energy reserves. He just doesn't run on autopilot. With them being the first Nomu anyway, like, and the reason why they put him away is because they couldn't really control him all that much unless you were the king or whatever. Kisa Tomura has barely slept himself over the course of a month. So now thinking about it, like, no, Gigantomachia did rest, because, like, I think after a certain amount of time, when it did become nighttime, Gigantomachia will go off and rest for a little bit. Tomura will use that time to try to sleep, but I don't think he was successful. It sounds like Tomura tried attacking him while he was asleep, and it never worked because Gigantomachia's senses were just that high. So Gigantomachia, I think he does rest. He just doesn't rest for long. So I can see the other Nomus, but I don't think Gigantomachia was really all like experiment. I think he was still part human. He still had a will of his own, and he just chose not to, listen to anybody that wasn't strong enough.
Yeah. I don't think he's like the Nomus that were completely mindless. Well, some of them were. Some of them seemed like they had personalities and stuff.
Well, only the high ends. But oh yeah, we got on this tangent because of Shiraki and you not liking his body changing. That's how it happened.
That is what happened.
But I guess again, not much really happened. I mean, there was a fight between these two. They were, well, not trading blows, more like Deku laying into Shigaraki consistently. Then apparently, I think after the last transmission and the last, smash into Shigaraki, One for All and All for One resonated with each other, and then like the first user was able to see that that Shigaraki was indeed still in there, and he also see his brother, which is intriguing too.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what part of All for One is inside that body right now, but I guess it's enough for the first user to see that he's in there. And then Shigaraki gets all upset about how it's unfair that he's got a chance to use all his powers, but he wasn't able to, and he looks at Aizawa and Monoma in the corner, saying it's their fault, and then something happens to him, and I guess as he gets angry, and then there's this like thing coming out of his abdomen, and then they cut away. And I think that's the end of the episode, isn't it?
Yeah. Save for the preview.
In the preview, I want to say I feel so vindicated.
Why?
Because I wasn't sure if Shoji was a heteromorph, and then I got confirmation through the preview he is. Because I brought this up before, because I remember when I asked the question is like when in the first intro when we see all the characters juxtaposed to each other, and you see Uraka and Toga, but then you see Shoji and Spinner, and I was kind of confused. I was like, what is Shoji doing there? That doesn't. Why would he be the one that could talk to him? And I had asked the question is I wonder if he's a heteromorph, like a person that has animal attributes that are very prominent, like he can't turn them off. But I was like, it seemed like to me like the only thing that Shoji had going on was multiple arms, so I wasn't aware if he had any animal attributes at all. Because he called his quirk Dupla arms, but now I'm kind of curious. I wonder if that's really a fake name. Like maybe that's not the name that's not the actual name of his quirk.
Why would they do that?
Well, here's the thing. There's a theme of racism in this show against the people who don't look human. It's like it's not like a prominent featured problem, but they do drop hints that it is everywhere. There are people who just don't like people who look different.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, okay, Shoji wanted to fit in, and he was afraid that he was going to get judged for having an octopus quirk or whatever like that. Granted, you can make the argument that why doesn't Froppy do that? But I think Froppy got lucky. Because that's another thing too I found really strange. It's like Froppy looks the most human, but she's still got frog attributes. Where her parents and her brother look like frogs. Like she doesn't look like them at all. I always thought that was kind of interesting, like how she got the lucky into that, into that stick there. But
yeah, she is,
huh? Wait, did you say? I'm gonna squint in the microphone. Repeat that again.
I said, yeah, she is pretty hot.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
All I'm saying is like half the porn about these characters is Froppy.
I'm gonna just like veer from the topic because if I get into this, it's gonna say a lot more about me than I don't want on the internet. So I'm gonna let you have that.
You would think it would be like a lot of the other characters in there, but it's Froppy like all the time.
You must have seen the Momo stuff. Okay, moving on. Moving on. But no, I know you're probably saying, why do you feel vindicated? Like, I just, like, I was so, because I couldn't find anything on the internet about Shoji being, without going too deep into his character bio, without anything that even suggested that he might have been an animal hybrid person. But like, okay, I'm so glad. Okay, he definitely looks different. It would explain why I guess he was the one. I guess he's the one that could probably talk Spinner out of everything. Have a
Why is Acid Girl so like popular?
Huh?
Why is Acid Girl so popular?
I mean, she's peppy, I guess. I don't know.
Why do they pick her all the time to be like the one?
I didn't see Acid Girl, Ashido, as like her name in the preview. Was she there?
No, in porn.
People like her? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I get more comfortable to get further.
It's so random to pick her. That's all.
I don't know if people got burn fetishes. I have no idea. It's probably actually an actual fetish, a burn fetish, but I'm not gonna get into that. That's really weird, regardless. Um, I had a thought, I had a train of thought, and I completely derailed it. Oh yeah, Shoji. Yeah, I just think the preview shows that apparently Shoji and Spit are gonna have their thing, and it shows Shoji without his mask on, and he's got interesting facial structure. That's really all I'm gonna say. Uh, he's apparently been hiding the fact that he is a heteromorph the entire show. Very well, mind you, because his face looked normal with the mask on, and just when you see about his face, when you see his face without the mask, it's like, good lord, man, how are you hiding that? We see also Spinner acting up. We just like, apparently it's like an entire war with the heteromorphs now, and apparently Coda is there too. And I was like, huh, is Coda animal hybrid too? I really don't know, because he's got a really weirdly shaped head. If you don't know what Coda is, this guy that can speak to animals.
Yeah, but what animal would he be looking like?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if he is one, but he's there and he's present. Maybe he's just there. I don't know. Maybe Shoji is literally the heteromorph representative in there. You know, the one hiding in plain sight. I don't know what Shoji would. I don't know what Coda would be. If I'm being real, I mean, I always thought like he was just, you know, he was just one of those, like, he was just one of those characters in the world of an anime that just looks weird and nobody really addresses it because it's all normal.
Yeah, me too.
Because he isn't the only one that's got really weird shaped head, so I don't know. And it's, to me, it's like, huh, why is he here? And then on top of that, speaking of people wondering why they're there, what's the lock dude doing here?
The lock guy?
Yeah, the guy that can lock you down. The black guy. That was a part of the Chisaki thing.
Just for DEI purposes, probably, right?
Okay, we're just gonna move on to the next thing we're gonna review. I can't believe we're actually this far in. Just a good look at Shoji, Eric. Like, what in the world, man? Like, look at his lips, his teeth. Like, how is the mask hiding that? Like, it's clear that he's an octopus because that mouth's a beak. Like, there is no beyond. Like, that is, he's either a squid or an octopus. He's one of the two. I would peg that he's an octopus, probably, because they're the smarter marine animal out of the two. Wait, is it the octopus or is it the squid? I forget. One of them is really smart. Yeah, that's a... Though it says Shoji and Coda, you two are two heroes. I'm guessing? Maybe Coda's hiding what he really looks like? I don't even know how he'd be hiding it, though. Unless that skin thing on his face is really a sack. That'd be the biggest, double MF right there. Is like, he was wearing the mask, and then Coda was also wearing a mask. But it's like, what kind of mask would he be wearing?
Right.
I'm just surprised Coda's here. Like, I mean, of all the, but I mean, it's cool that they're using Coda. He doesn't get a lot of use. I think the last time he was used in the show was literally when he was fighting President Mike with earphone jack during like during a test or something. Okay, with that, we're moving on to Dragon Prince really quick. Oh no, you don't. So then I'm gonna review Dragon Prince episode 4 is what I have. Yeah, season 6, episode 4. I guess we could talk about this too. I cannot believe how fast they announced like the next season for Dragon Prince. Apparently, it's the finale for their I think for the first part of their second saga. I think is what it is. And they're working on their third saga, like this, so they work on their next season, but like the next season coming out is like the end of their next saga. So I'm not totally sure how this is all going to end, but it sounds like they're wrapping up for something big.
I still feel like we don't even know who Erebos is.
He's the bad elf guy. What more do you need?
The Dragon Prince has never been that simple, though.
I don't know. Erebos seems simple to me. I mean, again, I say all this because, like, well, so far they've been setting Erebos up to be this guy. But, like, I will say that something I did find interesting was, like, those two elves in the very beginning of this season. Like, well, one of them, it seems clear enough to both of us that we're supposed to assume that one of them is Erebos. Then we have the other elf that's with him that's also a Star Touch elf. I'm like, who the heck are you? Like, are you important for something? Like, but also the fact that, you know, in the middle of the episode we found out that apparently Star Touch elves, at least from the way they were talking, it sounds like only one manifests in the world at a time, I'm guessing. But based on those first two Star Touch elves that we saw, that can't be true. Because like they both existed at the same time.
Right.
So maybe it's a misconception.
Or maybe they have like an existence up in the stars, like sort of a world that they can live in. Or maybe there's two Star Touched elves in the prison in the Pearl.
Yeah, that thought didn't cross my mind, but I was like, well, I guess if you had to seal them up and you couldn't kill them because all they would do is just reincarnate. Avatar cycle.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah. Actually, didn't really have to. I just felt like it. But yeah, that was weird. But yeah, I guess those two Star Touch were really interesting and out of place. So yeah, I don't know.
The name of the whole series is The Mystery of Erebos. Like, there's going to be more to them.
I mean, this saga is called The Mystery of Erebos.
Yeah.
The show is called Dragon Prince, but I mean, I was trying to be particular. But I don't know. It's just that to me, it's like a part of me would be really upset, be kind of upset. I would get over it, but it's like they spent this entire time like making Erebos to be this like really evil individual, and on top of they sealed him away because he was dangerous to the world. So I don't know. It's like, what if he isn't really all that bad of a person? Why seal him away then? Was there a reason for it?
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me to seal away a guy, an elf that doesn't seem to be all that dangerous. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it's like making Erebos to be a good guy doesn't make much sense to me. But then again, I mean, maybe just that other elf they don't know anything about. What is she doing? Where the heck is she? So I don't know.
Well, we've also seen the morality is sort of an ambiguous thing, right? Like, in this world, one person's good is not necessarily another person's good.
So you're saying there's something up with the council that sealed him away?
What?
I'm saying, like, are you like assuming there might be something up with the council that sealed him away? I mean, you're saying, like, you know, not everybody's gonna see the same thing the same way. So, you know, it's like maybe
the same thing the same way. So maybe that's the case here too. Maybe he has his own side to things.
But again, I'm like, okay, if that's the case, then like, why not tell them you have the ability to contact people outside the orb? You're not completely powerless. No. The things he's doing doesn't really add up. Now, maybe. Now, another thing, maybe it could be possible. Because there was that one scene we see Callum when he's inside the orb. And he comes out of it when he's awake and everything like that, and he's holding the orb in his hand. I always thought that was a really weird one, and I always assumed that maybe somebody possessed his body. because it would make sense. But like, Callum isn't acting like a possessed person.
Not right now.
But then why go to the trouble trying to find? I mean, even just playing the fool, it's like that seems like it's too much.
I think he can. I think Callum acts like a possessed person when Erebos possesses him, which he can do in moments of weakness.
No, what I'm saying is like, I mean, there was that point when he was inside the Elvis's orb, when Elvis wasn't in there, or at least not in the room that he somehow appeared in. And I thought maybe somehow like Elvis tricked him down there to swap places with him.
Was he really in there, or was that a dream? Because if he was, how did he get out?
I thought to take that as like it really happened, because I mean, I think differently if Callum had woken up in his bed, but he had woken up down in the basement with the orb in his hand. That's not mere sleepwalking.
Why is it not mere sleepwalking?
I don't think you would sleepwalk to the ultimate source of destruction in the world. I feel like he must have like, to me, I feel like he must have been either drawn there or controlled down there.
Yeah, he's controlled, sleepwalking and under control and guided like through sleepwalking there. But I think that's a little different than thinking for sure that he was imprisoned in the Pearl.
I felt like I thought he was going to be in prison in the Pearl only for him to come out, but then I thought maybe someone switched places with him. But I mean, clearly that didn't happen because he's acting like Callum. I feel like I just don't know, like that scene still bothers me, because it's like there's no reason to do that scene like at all. Like, maybe even as a gag, it doesn't make any sense. At least for these creators, they don't do anything without a purpose. That scene had a purpose. I don't know what purpose that scene had held, but to me that scene had a purpose. Again, what purpose it held, I don't know, and that's what's bothering me. And then another thing bothered me recently is the other elf we don't know anything about. I don't know. There's a lot of things that are bothering me, and I really don't know. But with this episode, they come like face to face to the star scraper, which is a really, I guess, really pretty looking building in the sky with a light shaft. English, really, just English. But a light shaft, like a prism light shaft. It's kind of cool because like Colin walked into it and he said like it's really warm and cold and it's breezy in there. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I guess that's the power of magic. Oh shoot, this should not be playing. Oh, copyright. Yeah, they walk in there and then Callum starts reading the runes on the ground. I find it.
He doesn't. It doesn't connect. He doesn't connect that like the runes are there doing something on purpose. He just like starts reading them out loud, like maybe they're just there for fun.
I feel like as a guy who's trying to learn magic, he should have thought about that ahead of time. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. You live and you learn.
Yeah.
He lived and he learned. At least I hope he learned. I don't know if he. Maybe he didn't live either. I have no idea. He reads the runes and like he reads like 3 of the runes and then half the platform goes up into the sky. He's like ah, and then Rayleigh comes in to save the day by telling him, "Why don't you just read the other half of the runes to level everything out?" And he did that. I was like, "There's no way that was gonna work," and then it did. And I was like, "That is such a dumb thing, such a funny dumb thing that apparently just doing that." Like I was like, okay, well that worked, and they go up to the platform where all the others, I think Skywing elves is what or who living there. I think that's what they were, because I mean they had wings. I don't think they were anything else. Oh. And they meet the sky. I need to just really check like what type of elves are even living here. Okay.
What's the matter?
I'm just trying to figure what type of elves they were living here. I'm gonna say it's Skywing, but I could be completely wrong. And I believe that I'm 100% wrong. Oh, celestial elves. That's interesting. Are there another type of elf out there that has wings? Okay, so the celestial elves are the ones that are living inside the inside that tower there. They're going to go see. They make it to the top and then they meet the elder, who then asks them are they the chosen too, which that's an interesting way to greet some people. And they say no, they're not, and then he says drop, and then the platform just lets loose underneath them and start falling. And then Callum apparently sees another rune in the middle of it, and he reads that and it resists the fall. And then the orb that Erebus is supposed to be stuck in rolls off the edge, and then Rayla's monkey spider monkey thing jumps after it and falls along with it, and then they get saved by the two celestial elves that are actually relatively nice and I guess have a sense of humor. And Callum obviously is upset and jarred that, you know, the elder decided to drop them and nearly kill them. And it kind of goes on a tirade of like, he tried to kill us. While Rayla is apparently, I guess, used to this and is calm and collected. But that was kind of cool, like, I guess, like, you know, Callum was really upset with the falling thing, but Rayla didn't seem to care all that much. And then, wait a minute, is that, I guess we deal with Claudia then. Oh, that falling thing doesn't happen until we deal with Claudia. Oh, shoot. Well, I guess we can deal with Callum and Rayla first then. Yeah, they deal with, they get sent flying down, and then in the Celestial Elves, at least the friendly ones. Geez, there are 3 stories happening in this one episode. I did not realize that. I watched this and did not realize there were 3 stories happening at once. Actually, technically 4. Wait. There's Rayla and Callum, then there's Claudia and Terry. Then there's a Suntouch elf dude and his wife, and then the dragon. And then at the end of it is Soren and Ezra. Oh shoot, yeah, there are 4 stories happening. The last one doesn't even happen to the end of it. But Rayla, Callum, I guess, talk to the nice celestial elves, and we learn a little bit more about their culture. That apparently they're blindfolded at birth. I think they're blindfolded at birth. I know they're blindfolded very young, and they can't like look up at the sky, at the sun or the moon, because they can't have their vision clouded, which seems interesting and very, I guess, archaic kind of. But they live most of their lives doing that, and then during a it's a new moon, I think is what it is. A new moon, they're able to take their blindfold off and, you know, take in the stars. And apparently it's supposed to, every now and then it's supposed to enlighten one of them. Like time enlighten one of the elves to see the past, the present, and the future all as one. Which I wonder if that's literal or not. And then, you know, they talk about the Elder and why the Elder did what he did. And he won't talk to anybody that isn't like the Chosen too. And then they take him even higher into the Celestial Tower to, I guess, see spiders that like weave, I guess, like a star silk or whatever.
Right.
That
makes wonderful lore.
Yeah, they use that silk for everything. They make it for their clothes and their underwear. They specifically say their underwear, and I was like...
And wings.
Well, yeah, wings, they don't have any. But then apparently, like Rayla, like I guess he found out about their how they live their lives, and Rayla goes to touch the male elf, and he realizes she's got 4 fingers, and then like the girl elf goes over to Callum and starts touching him on his hands. He's like, he's got 5. I'm like, huh, this seems like a invasion of personal space. And it's like, at least that's what I was thinking. But it said, oh wait, these are the chosen too. Like, are you the warrior and the mage? Callum kind of decided to take up both mantles, say, yeah, I use magic, and I use a sword once or twice, and then Relic is like, I think I'm the warrior in this pairing. I thought that was kind of funny, and kind of cute that she wanted to, I guess like show up Callum in that situation.
Right.
And then they were like, after that, then they go talk to the elder again. They tell him that they are the chosen too. And then there's apparently a prophecy they gotta fulfill, but before the prophecy gets fulfilled, they want to ask them how to kill. They want the sword they came here for to kill Erebos. They find out through that they already given the sword out to a human many years ago, and I guess they don't know where that human is. Well, the human must be dead by this point, but they don't know where the sword is anymore. But they said like the sword can't kill them. Really, the celestial elf literally. Will just like lose their physical form and return to the stars, and then only will come back when the stars align again.
Just kind of smacks down that whole chunk of plot.
Maybe they were intending to really kill Erebos. I mean, like you said before, maybe there's something more to Erebos. I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, they got enough episodes to turn me on the idea. So I don't know. Again, maybe Erebos isn't the real evil. Maybe Erebos. Maybe what actually happened is Erebos got tricked into the prism, and for some reason history got rewritten, and like it was said that Erebos was the evil one. I had no idea. Well, I wonder if like are we thinking Erebos is the wrong person? that just came to mind. Oh, whatever. That's too much thinking about things we don't know about. We learned that we can't kill him, as Spear said, smacking down a huge chunk of plot. And then we learn that the prophecy they want them to fulfill, which is to kill a monster that is apparently causing a lot of ice storms and making it impossible for elves to achieve enlightenment. There's apparently a giant cloud or a tornado in the distance that they can see from where they are, and they want them to go and take care of that monster. As Spear has told me in a DM before, I guess typical journey to defeat the monster, causing a huge I guess a typical RPG plot, defeat the monster that's causing a huge mess in a giant area. That's gonna be interesting to see.
It's a fetch quest.
I mean, we're in a magical world, in a magical realm that has magic and creatures in it. What do you expect? But they got their fetch quest, is what Spear calls it, to go take care of that monster. And then that's the end of their part in this episode. And then we can talk about Claudia and Terry, because they got a small part. But it's like, I want to say, we see a couple of scenes of Claudia looking at this little cub, and I'm sitting here looking at her. She's looking at this thing. I'm like, please don't kill it. Please don't. Is what I'm chanting. It's please don't kill it. Please don't kill it. It's like all I'm asking is please don't kill this thing. Luckily, she doesn't. Granted, she gets kind of ambushed by the mother. So I'm like, how did the cub get away from the mother? The mother's this aggressive.
Yeah, the mother's pretty upset.
But before all that, Terry and Claudia are having a talk, and Claudia's wondering what she needs to do, or what her next goal is. If she stop using dark magic or not. She asked Terry this, and Terry does the obvious thing of I'm not gonna get involved in this. This is between you and dark magic. You gotta make that choice yourself. I can do everything else for you, but that needs to be a choice you need to make yourself. Claudia
he did give her the choice back though when he prevented the big tiger creature from attacking her. But also, if you notice, when she went to when the thing went to pounce on her, she huddled into a protected ball rather than use the dark magic that she had with her. So she had chosen like to potentially die or at least take severe injury in that moment. But then Terry comes in and saves the day.
Yeah, I guess like Terry's been showing himself way more useful. I noticed. At first he kind of just seemed to be there and just be comedic relief, but he's actually proven himself to be really useful.
Yeah, like I said, characters in this show turn out to be more like have more depth to them than you think. That's why I think Erebos has to have more depth too.
I'm pretty sure he has more depth.
Depth,
Death. That's where I'm gonna go with this.
maybe both.
Nah, I think just death. Death would be too much for that. I know why you're saying that, but at the same time, I don't know. To me, it's like I feel like they would have hinted at this much earlier. I mean, like to use the first scene of season 6. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I really didn't. Season 6 to highlight two, and those elves could be two different elves entirely too. That's the other thing too that I haven't like explored either. I don't know, that elf thing. The elf just seems like the one that was crying seemed to be Erebos, but I don't know why Erebos is crying. Seems like the other weird thing too. And that Erebos didn't. That's Erebos. He does not have all the markings that he has now. I don't know what happened. I mean, if he does, he does. I can't tell them not to give the character. I mean, he's already like a central plot point. I just don't know how I'm gonna feel if they suddenly say that he's a good guy. I'm like, really? Then who's the bad guy?
Right. I don't necessarily think he has to be a good guy. I just think he's going to be more complicated than we know so far. I don't think we know everything about Erebos yet.
I mean, we know absolutely zero about the guy. Just that he's apparently going to be at the end of the world.
I don't know zero. I mean, we know that he has powers. We know about his backstory, like a good amount of his backstory. We're getting teasers for other like little bits of plot. We know he's dangerous when he wants to be.
You know, I hope it is one of those situations like they sometimes do, where the villain, like, you know, he's going through his own way to gain power to stop something else from showing up, and then that thing shows up, and then they're like, "This is what I was trying to warn you about, you idiots." I sure hope it is one of those situations, because like, really, I've seen it too much at this point. I can't stop the creators from doing that, but I'm just like,
yeah.
you just want to, like, I've seen it so much. It's like there's always something more evil behind them, and they're trying to stop because they're afraid of that more than anything else. But I don't know what would be more powerful than a Star Touch elf at this point, because it's like, okay, they come from the heavens, or at least from the stars. The only thing more powerful than that could be an elf that comes from space, but so far we haven't ventured outside of the planet. So like, I mean, not that saying that we won't. I'm just saying that it's like that's the only place that something more powerful than Erebos could come from at this point, unless they reveal something else. Like, I'm still waiting for them to reveal like dark magic isn't really dark magic. Like maybe it's something that got perverted. It's quite possible. But yeah, Claudia comes to like the grips that she needs to see her father to, you know, figure out what she wants to do next.
I think dark magic is pretty much dark magic.
I don't know. Like you said, like things are not as simple. I mean, if that's the case for characters, I don't think it's just the case for dark magic. It's kind of the same thing with Avatar. Like, I mean, firebending was a little bit more complex than, you know, initially thought.
Yeah, it's not just the power of anger.
So I'm gonna say that's why I say I think dark magic. It might be, maybe it's dark magic, but maybe it isn't supposed to be dark magic. Maybe it was supposed to be like how in Final Fantasy you got things called black mages, but they're not necessarily evil. They just got really powerful abilities.
Yeah. That's fair enough. I feel like it's dark magic because you have to use the pieces of something living to
But I
take
mean, that's the thing.
in.
Like, what if it was perverted? Maybe like its original source was something else.
Not pieces of the dead.
Yeah, like maybe it was accidentally discovered. Like maybe the person who took the original form of dark magic, whoever that was, I'm not sure what that is. If it even's real, I'm just making speculation. Like, what if dark magic was something else, and that it was called something else, and it was like applauded, because like dragons can smell it. It was like, okay, that's interesting that they can smell that. They can smell that. I mean, well, they're smelling the death off of them, but the fact that they're able to smell anything off of a human that is using dark magic is interesting because they don't ever say they can smell like anything else off of people using magic. But it's possible that it could have been something else. Maybe it was the original form of magic for humans, whatever that is. That got perverted somewhere along the line. Maybe a human accidentally discovered that they can use the bodies of magical creatures inside their magic, and then because of that, it perverted it. It turned it into dark magic. And because of that, that's why their humans are forbidden practicing it. But instead of like saying that you could practice this magic, they just banned them using magic, period. I guess speaking of characters that are like really interesting or weird, and I wonder what the purpose of Soul Regum is. I guess we could talk about him now. Like the Sunfire Elves that are trying to go and like bring back his sight. Well, he wants his wings back, but
I was like, why not both? Why
mm,
don't we start with giving your vision back, and we'll get your wings worked out.
I don't know. But I'm actually kind of curious because like, okay, so we got Zim's mother. She's a really benevolent queen, really powerful dragon. We all know this. We know for a fact that dragons in this world are really freaking powerful. Humans make this really known. Magic creatures all around make this really well known. I mean, dragons, they stand at the apex of the food chain, essentially.
Right.
But we have Soul Regum here, who's like down on his luck, down out, want to be left alone. Apparently, like, Zoraya's husband really, knocked it out of him. He lost his sight somewhere along the lines at some point, and lost his ability to fly later on down the road. But I'm actually kind of curious, like, why is Soul Regum like in a cave and nobody knows he's there? That we all know of right now. That he knows is there and he's hidden. It almost seems like this guy is like a hidden danger that we don't know about yet.
Right.
Like he's been put there. He's there. He's there right now because like he's not gonna pose a threat yet. That's like, to me, like that kind of just like based on what they're doing right now with trying to get his wings and his sight back. Well, his wings, because he wants his wings back.
What are they gonna do with the stupid sunseed now?
I guess they could power their magic to do that kind of thing. I mean, he says a ritual. It's like there's a ritual we can use to heal you. I didn't know Sunfire Elves had the ability to heal. Apparently, they freaking do.
Can they use the same ritual that they were gonna use on his eyes, on his wings, and there's not like a disadvantage here?
I guess if it's a healing sort of magic, they can use them anywhere on his body. They were trying to give his sight back. Is what their goal was.
In a series that likes to draw similarities and comparisons all the way through at every point, don't you think it's interesting that the what are the what are the elves called that live up in the tower?
Celestial Elves?
Not the celestial elves, the ones that with the blindfolds on.
Celestial Elves.
Okay, celestial elves. The right, as opposed to Star Touch. The celestial elves. Don't you think it's interesting that they have blindfolds on, and then Soul Regum is blind himself, and that they put them next to each other in the same episode?
I mean, it's interesting. I don't know, like what. I don't. I don't know what kind of what's. I mean, obviously something's gonna happen when he's able to see again. But
They're both choosing to be blind though.
Huh?
They're both choosing a life of blindness, and they don't need their eyes.
But do you really think that elf's gonna like just like heal his wings? He'll probably find a way to heal both things. Like that elf doesn't really listen to orders all that much. He already kind of told Saurian he wanted him to be a part of his dynasty, his ruling in the Sun Touch Empire.
Yeah.
That's not the speech of somebody that listens really well. If I have to point out. I mean, yeah, they both shows. I mean, I think I did see this, and I don't remember what I thought of it at the time. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, I only really I thought about Silvergun because like he at first he just seemed like a random character they threw in because like they needed something out there in the wild. I'm guessing I didn't really think they were going to do anything with him. I thought, okay, he was gone, he was down and out. He wasn't going to be. I should have known better. I should have known better. They don't introduce a character without a purpose. They never do that. I don't know what. Like, I mean, to me he poses a threat. It's like I don't know what kind of threat he poses yet. And that's kind of the scary thing, is the threat you don't know about. It is interesting that he wanted his like wings back though. It also means he can't fly. I wonder like what made him unable to fly. Was that Zim's father?
No, they didn't tell us, did they?
I don't know. I thought maybe they did, but maybe they didn't.
Remember, it was a surprise when he was blind.
What made him? Did they ever tell us what made him blind?
No. No, I don't think so.
I wonder. Wait a minute. I'm just gonna type in Soul Regum site, and I'm just gonna see something.
Okay.
Not gonna say anything. Just want to see something.
History of Erebos, Sol Regum, a character deeply shrouded in lore and mystery, lost his sight in a dramatic and symbolic event. The story reveals that Sol Regum, once a powerful and wise figure, became blinded during a climactic battle against the dark forces of Erebos. The moment of blindness was not just a physical affliction, but also a metaphorical one, representing a loss of insight and clarity. The battle was a struggle against the very essence of darkness and ignorance, and Sol Regum's blindness signifies the profound cost of this confrontation. It underscores themes of sacrifice, the limits of human perception, and the struggle between light and darkness.
Wait, so they're saying dark magic is symbolic of ignorance?
Blindness.
But this is something that dark magic was symbolic of something. Was it just blindness?
It was a struggle against the very essence of darkness and ignorance.
So what happens if? What happens to dark magic if you were to like gain the knowledge and win the fight? Like with that, I mean, regardless of the symbolic nature of it, doesn't that sound like maybe there's a way to turn dark magic into something else? Like, say your dark magic is dark magic and there's nothing that you can do about it, but what if you're able to change the source of how it gains power, and then therefore it loses the taint that it once had?
I don't know.
I mean, dark magic leaves a taint. We already know that.
Yes, a permanent taint, unless you're killed and brought back to life for some reason.
I'm sorry. You said that, I immediately thought about Varen. I'm like, dang it.
Uh-huh. Because Varen doesn't have the taint anymore.
Does it? Oh, I thought. Okay. Well, I guess Erebos did leave him alone. I guess yeah, that wouldn't. Yeah, was like maybe there's like a way. Maybe Varen would discover it, considering he was the one using dark magic the longest. If there is anything that can turn dark magic into something else, I don't know. I'm just like throwing ideas because it's like, to me it's like again, I don't believe that they would be like, story wise, dark magic would have made it this far, and it's not gonna turn into something else later. And maybe that something else will help Claudia out. Who knows? Um, I think.
I wonder if we were supposed to know that by now. I think we weren't.
What?
That how he lost his sight.
I don't know. I think because like Soul Reagan was in an episode before. I think it was even titled Soul Reagan.
Yeah, it was.
I think we're supposed to have known that by now. I maybe like we weren't supposed to speculate on something else about that. I don't know.
I didn't know that Erebos had dark forces.
No, I think we knew that because like they talked about Erebos being like, I mean, back when they were talking about when they sealed Erebos away, this was like a long time ago before we even found out that Erebos was immortal. We found out they told us that Star Touch elves are very powerful beings. Like no one like I think they only say one exists at a time. I'm guessing they make the inference of like they only ever seen one at a time. They're really freaking powerful. Like there's nothing like no one like there's no magical being I think that is like on par with them. I'm guessing, unless it's dragons. But I remember them talking about like Erebos like was a danger. That's why they sealed him away. I remember them talking about that. It took a lot to seal him away. Like Erebos was just that strong. Like I remember that. That's kind of like why I'm sitting here. Like when you bring up that, I mean maybe he's a little more conflicted. I'm guessing it's like I think back to that scene we see of who I believe to be Erebos crying. And I'm like, why is he crying? That makes absolutely no sense. Actually, wait a minute. I just realized something. Didn't they say the celestial elves like I guess like they when they take their blindfolds off and whatnot, when they get in, like sometimes they can be enlightened? What if that was an Erebos? What if those two characters were the two characters we just saw?
Two characters.
The two blindfolded elves. Like one of them right here.
Oh. Well, they've never taken their blindfolds off.
You know what I'm saying? Like what in the first episode, I remember wondering why was like the guy on his knees crying, and I assumed that it was Erebos, but maybe I think he brought like I don't know if we can assume that's Erebos. What if it wasn't Erebos? What if it was these two? Like what if like that first bit was like after Rayla and Caleb defeated whatever the heck that thing was, and that was just the celestial elves looking at the sky when the new moon was around, and they took their they took their blindfolds off. Let me maybe I can look this up really quick just to see. I get it, man crying. Nope, that's definitely a different elf. So never mind. That's a different elf.
Neither of them are Erebos?
No, that might be Erebos, but it's definitely not what I was suggesting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's got. I thought at first maybe it might have been the Celestial Elves, but no. That could be. I mean, that's got the same facial structure as Erebos. He's even got the star skin and whatnot. And then she just shows up out of nowhere, almost like she manifested. I wonder. Could Erebos be like a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a mistake, but not an accident, some like random event that shouldn't have existed. That is also a Star Touch elf. I don't know, something about that. Something about the fact that they're saying that Star Touch elves, like, I think I need to go and rewatch what he said about Star Touch elves manifesting. Maybe I misread what he said about them only one at a time. We are all of us Stardust. All of us, huh? It seems to speak there's more than just the two of them. I wonder why her eyes are specifically a different color. Yeah, his eyes are not the same color as hers. Actually, he looks muted. What's up with that? Like, doesn't Erebus that we know like have a lot more color to them? Or am I imagining that?
No, that looks like Erebos.
No, I'm saying, doesn't he look like muted in color?
No.
Yeah, maybe I'm imagining that too. Hold up.
Go to the intro. The intro always shows him picking someone up like a statue and smiling at them.
That was strange. Saw his hand there.
I'm looking at a shot of him now on screen capture.
Huh. Wait a minute.
Might just be the contrast with him against the background. Looks about the same to me though.
Huh. I don't know. I see it and I'm like, geez, why does he look muted to me then? Might be my screen then. Okay. Huh. What time is it? Okay. I guess with that, like, if we could move on from that, then oh shoot. It's the same episode. Let me watch the credits. Back out. And we'll continue on from here. I think the only thing we haven't discussed a little bit is, I guess, the ending here, where Soren, like after, you know, Callum and Rayla get told of their mission, we come back to the main kingdom of Zadia, and Soren and his friend show up, and then Soren is like, I got you gifts. I mean, we got you gifts. Like I have returned. I mean, we have returned basically, and they come out with the mushrooms. Meanwhile, Ezra's like looking all serious and, you know, concerned. Soren notices this and he's like, "What's going on?" And then pretty much the episode ends with Ezra saying that we got your father. He's back. And the episode just ends there. So, with Soren like as is suspectedly concerned that his father is back.
What's he gonna do with it?
Huh?
He's got such mixed feelings about his father.
Yeah. Hey, it's just me. And look at this image that I got on Switch right now, like with like Soren here, and then this woman over here. Do they have the same hair color?
Yeah, they look like they do.
Are they related?
Because of the same hair color?
I don't know. I don't know why I keep getting confused about like No, because their mother left them. Never mind. I don't know why. Like I keep thinking that
That,
the woman that I guess
if you
Varen
had
isn't
the same,
single. I don't know. I don't know why I keep thinking he's married. What?
is that like if you had the same skin color, are you related, or does it just go for hair?
You know, we're just gonna just move on.
It's only not racist if it's about hair.
I'm not gonna even. I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna like. I'm not even gonna entertain this line of questioning. How dare you? I'm not even gonna entertain. I don't know why. I guess I'm getting mixed up. I don't know why. I like. I keep thinking of Varen's married, but I don't think he is. But well, I don't know why I thought that he said he had a second wife, but maybe I'm thinking about Ezra's father. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. Like, you know, seeing Soren. Like again, I don't know. I mean, maybe he'll go talk to his father. I mean, I don't think Soren hates his father. It's just that he's just concerned.
We go talk to him, but I mean, having him down there in the dungeon for the rest of his life is probably not something that Soren feels not conflicted about.
I mean, he's just down. There's nothing he can do. He doesn't have access to his staff or his magics anymore. He's just a prisoner now. Varen doesn't pose any more threat than a rat would in like in a historically accurate dungeon in the 19th century.
Yeah.
But also, Ezra kind of looks like he's got his own thoughts too. I keep forgetting that Ezra has his own like council and the baker is a part of it. Like, I'm waiting for the baker to have that aha moment that's gonna save the world with his pastries.
He will save the world someday with his pastries.
I'm just waiting for him to have that moment, his aha moment. I'm not sure what he's gonna make, but like so far he's made some interesting things.
He's gonna feed him to that blind dragon and turn him good.
I mean, if that blind dragon remains blind, I had no idea.
And then and then Erebos is gonna show up on the world and start wreaking havoc, and he's gonna give him a pastry, and Erebos is just gonna be too happy to go on a rampage anymore.
Well, I mean, it worked on that one dragon.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, that one dragon was pissed when he got like when he woke up and he was like, "What in the world happened?" Yeah, there ends this episode. I guess next episode's gonna pick up. Well, maybe pick up from here. I had no idea. Same thing with My Hero Academia, which, by the way, now the Olympics are over, My Hero should not have any reason to like go on another hiatus for a week. So I say that, and
And are you still there?
I'm still here. No, I'm just August 24th, and I think that's Saturday, so we're back on a weekly thing. Yes, we are.
Hi to that one guy from Brazil, by the way.
I mean, if that one guy from Brazil is still hanging around. Hi, you are probably the longest term fan we had in a while. All right, with that, we're going to end it here. Thank you guys for stopping by. For anybody who watched this, I mean, listen to this, and we'll see you guys next week for the next review pair. See you then. Bye bye.